All right. Sorry about that, but all right. Sorry about that, but all right. All right. Sorry about that, but sorry about that, but all right. All right. Sorry about that, but sorry
This
about that.
is hilarious.
All right. All right. Sorry about that, but sorry about that.
This is hilarious.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
One second.
I'm scared to say something again. Okay. So, welcome back. I am your host, DJax, and this is the Alpha CyberSecurity channel. Another stream we're doing here. Actually, I'm doing a stream on Twitch, Mixer, and YouTube all at the same damn time. So that's why you heard all of the feedback. But I just wanted to do something quick today. I wanted to do it about a week ago, but it just didn't work out. So, like said in my last video, I want to try to do at least 1 to 2 streams a week. But today, I just wanted to kind of just do a quick question and answer type thing. Maybe even do a quick little demonstration or do some gaming. I don't know. Try to see who we got on right now. It's only 3 people, so I guess in the meantime, I could bullshit a little bit until we get a couple more people, or see if we'll get a couple more people. I know it's a Thursday, it's 6 o'clock over here on the East Coast. People are probably just getting out of work or getting home or whatever they're doing. So, luckily, we'll have the streams on multiple platforms. So, whenever they do get home, they can get the notification and they can just log in then. All right, so again, like I was saying before, what I wanted to do was do a question and answer type session, almost like an AMA, ask me anything, and I will try to answer as best as I can. Just gonna go through a quick rundown again of who I am and what I do here. So I'm Davin Jackson. I'm also known as DJax. I'm an Air Force veteran. I am a husband and a father of 2 children and a dog. I currently live in Georgia. I'm originally from Connecticut. I mean, do I really need to give the whole rundown? It's only 3 people. But anyway, yeah, so I was an aircraft mechanic in the Air Force. I was there for about 3-4 years. Stationed in Texas and New Mexico mainly. Started off working on the F-16s and then eventually worked on the stealth fighter jets. after I got out of the Air Force, couldn't get a job because they don't have any fighter jets in the civilian world, and started looking around, struggling to find a job. Finally got back into IT, and started off doing help desk support. Actually, before that, I worked at Circuit City. And then after I left Circuit City, I started doing help desk support for cable companies and different companies. After that, I worked at GE for a little bit. That didn't work out, and I didn't renew my contract with them. And started to work for another company. Worked with them for a couple years. Then I finally got into the school system, and I started doing IT for them. And that's when I was introduced to cybersecurity, doing mainly blue team work. And as the years progressed, I started doing more and more research, started looking up how to do vulnerability scans and vulnerability analysis, and that naturally led me into pen testing or ethical hacking. And that's where I am now. Don't really need to go through the whole thing because, again, I'll probably explain the certifications and stuff later on. So that's basically where I've been now. Been doing pen testing or hacking now for about a little over 5 years, maybe 5 or 6 years or so. And now I'm just trying to share my expertise, if that's what you want to call it, or share my knowledge to anybody who's interested in getting to this field or looking to get better in this field. I'm also still learning too, so I don't know all the answers to all the questions, but what I do know, I'm willing to share, and I'm willing to help where I can. And that's pretty much what led me to doing this website. So again, I'm going to go through some questions that I've gotten over my Twitch channel, my YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram. If you look in the top right corner, you'll see that's the blog site, alphacybersecurity.tech. That's just what you see on the screen right now with my latest article that I posted this morning. I also, like I said, my Twitter and my IG account are both djax_alpha, and then my Facebook page is Alpha CyberSec. So you can find me there, and then YouTube, you can just use that crazy link because I apparently haven't gotten enough subscribers to get a custom YouTube link yet. So in the meantime, that's just what you got to use. Okay, so the last time we did a video, I think you had my son over there in the corner jumping around and dancing around, but I don't think he's going to make an appearance today. But if he is watching, or if he is somewhere, hey Nathaniel, hey Jada, just shout out my kids. They're probably running around with mom, so that's why it's just me. So before we get started, let's see how many viewers we still have. We still have the same 3. Okay. All right. So, by the way, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, to the Twitch channel. The Mixer is something new. I'm just trying to experiment with that today. But eventually you can subscribe to that too. But like the videos, show some support. Like the videos, hit the notification bell. I'm not used to what the hell they say at this point, but hit subscribe and click the bell for notifications so you can be notified when new videos go up or when I decide to go live again. That would be a big help for what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to get as much exposure as possible. Again, I want to be able to reach several people in the community, from those who are super experienced to those who are just brand new getting in. Honestly, I'm probably looking to cater towards more the people who are trying to get in or who are trying to figure out what they want to do. Like I said, this is a big field to get into, and it's an interesting field, and it's also a very well-paying career field as well. So just, hit subscribe. So with that being said, I guess we'll go into some of the questions. Probably be a quick video. I mean, we've been streaming now for about 20 minutes. Honestly, 10 of it was probably just a stream, starting soon screen, but we'll see where it goes. Just give me 1 second. Just bringing up my questions. I wrote them all down from earlier today, trying to prepare for the stream. Okay, let's see. So I have about 11 questions. Okay, so I guess the first question again is, how did I get started in cybersecurity? I think I kind of gave a quick rundown in the intro, but like I said, I started off doing IT support or computer repairs for Circuit City. For those of you who don't know, Circuit City was basically the competitor to Best Buy until they went out of business around, 2008, 2009. But I was what they called a fire dog tech, and I would be the one who basically took the computer in, did the troubleshooting, if it had a virus or if something was wrong, or if you needed to get the RAM upgraded, or you needed to add a new hard drive and copy and transfer data. That's basically what my job was. I did that as well as doing home theater setups and shit like that. So after they went out of business, I looked around for a job for a little while, but this is in the height of the recession, and I couldn't really find anything. So what I basically did was I took that time to learn as much as I could to get different certifications, and obviously I started with my A+ certification from CompTIA. While I was doing that, I did some troubleshooting or stuff basically on my own, fixing friends' computers or small businesses, trying to make some money that way. And eventually that led to landing a job at Cablevision, which back in Connecticut was a big major cable provider and still is. Excuse me, just 1 second. Oh, move this over here. All right, so Cablevision. So I worked with them for a little while. They were more about just getting. They were more concerned about getting a certain number of calls every night as opposed to actually helping people. So that didn't really last long. I remember specifically I helped one client actually fix her computer over the phone, and they pulled me into the office and told me that even though what I did was great, I could have ended the call a good 15 to 20 minutes sooner, and I got in trouble for it. So like I said, I knew that wasn't going to last too much longer, so I left Cablevision and started working for other small companies. I worked at like a rehab center doing like their networking and troubleshooting and stuff like that. I worked another part-time job doing like help desk support, and then I got a contract at GE, which is another big company in the Northeast. And that after that didn't work, I just went back to studying and getting more certifications. So after I did my A+, I got my Network Plus, and okay. Sorry, I keep looking back because I'm looking to watch my network. It seems like it's getting choppy. But anyway, yeah, like I said, so after I did that, I got my Network Plus, and then eventually moved on to my Security Plus certification. That's when I first started looking at a security as a possible field. But at that point, I was kind of comfortable where I was doing IT support and help desk. So I kind of stayed in the field a little bit longer than I wanted to. It wasn't until about 2012, 2013 where I started to really focus more on security. Started off just doing, again, incident response or blue team exercises when like we were getting hit with ransomware and stuff like that. And then after that, I started wondering, well, why are we always constantly getting hit? What's going on? That's how I started to learn about doing vulnerability analysis, and then obviously to test the vulnerabilities to make sure that they're indeed vulnerabilities or to exploit them is how I got introduced into ethical hacking and or penetration testing. So once I kind of got there, I stayed there. I didn't want to do anything else. I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing the hacking and the pen testing more than I was doing the IT support. I was actually getting bored doing IT stuff. But by that time, I had gotten my A plus, my Network plus, my Security plus. I got a bunch of different Microsoft certifications. And then when I moved into security, I got my Security plus again just because I wanted to stay updated with the new exam and the new stuff that they had in that exam. So I actually have my Security plus twice. And then I went down to Virginia for about a week and did like a training camp and got my CEH by the end of the week. After the CEH, I came back up. I did another one called a Certified Penetration Tester, which is basically a hands-on practical exam. They give you a scenario, a couple machines you have to work on, and you have, I think it was something like, you have 5 days to do the whole thing, get root on all the machines, and then write up the report. So I did that, got the certification, and then after that I moved on to I had an interest in computer forensics, so I took a course with computer forensics, got certified there. And then, by that point, I had left the school system and started working as a pen tester for another company. It was a remote job. My first pen test job was actually pretty cool. Like I said, I got to go all over the place in the country and just hack into machines or do red team exercises where we actually broke into buildings and, just basically did whatever we needed to do to get into the building or get into the server room or whatever, and make sure we didn't get caught or arrested. So that was pretty cool for a little while. I was there with them for about 18 months, almost 2 years, and then I moved on to another company. But by that time, I did some research and decided to move down to Georgia. That was, because what was going on up north was really hard to get a job, a good paying job in that field. It was more about a who you know type thing. And unfortunately, I didn't know too many people in high places. And what's the word I'm looking for? I guess I kind of knew my worth. So I refused to get underpaid and overworked. So I started looking around. I wanted to expand my career and grow and obviously take care of my family doing it. So that's when I started looking around. And there was a couple other places, but my family and I decided that Georgia would probably be the best move. And the rest is pretty much history. After I did the forensics, I later on got my CISSP, which is a big one in the security field. That's like especially for like management and doing audits and things like that. I actually did it just because I knew it was on my list. What I wanted to actually get my OSCP first, but I did it just because I think I was asked to do it for the job I was working at the time. So like I said, I went and got that, and then I said I would go back and do my OSCP. And that's what I'm working on now. I took the OSCP test late last year and I failed it. And now I'm actually working towards getting that certification now. So long story short, that's how I got into security. Let's see. It looks like, what was your idea? Or what was behind your idea to start this, and why did you start blogging? So I'm going to actually answer those two questions at the same time because it's pretty much the same question. So I started blogging, or I came up with the idea to blog shortly after I moved down here. There are a bunch of different meetup groups down here based on cybersecurity and hacking and networking, coding, programming, WordPress, JavaScript. There's all types of different groups down here. There's an OWASP chapter down here for web application hacking. But when I went to a couple of the meetups to network and meet some people in the area, um, I was definitely impressed by the demand for this field. So I met a bunch of different people, and they just had different questions. So I kept saying, I would try to help where I can. But the problem with the meetups, sometimes when they first started, they were really close by, and then after that, they were further away, and they want their random times. So there's one meetup that's like, the first Friday of every month, but it's somewhere else. It might be here. Like when I first started, it was like down the street, and then after that, it was like somewhere in Buckhead, or it's in the mall or wherever. And honestly, you couldn't really coordinate with everybody that you wanted to help or that would ask you for help. So that's kind of where I decided, okay, I want to be able to put something out there that would be able to help people, whether we can go to this meetup or not. So that's where I first got the idea to start blogging, and then shortly after I failed the OSCP exam, I had gotten really sick, and while I was recovering, I was basically just running into different people, or people were contacting me with a whole bunch of different questions, and I found myself answering the same question several different times. And it was just like, what if I just had one resource where I could put that out there where people could read it, and and I can help wherever I can, or document it so I can go back to it. Even for selfish reasons, like if I'm studying something, if I write down my notes, I can put it on a website, or I can put it on a blog site, have people read it, learn it, and understand it as well. But that's also something that I can go back to when I need to refresh my memory. So that's basically the idea behind the website and why I started blogging. Mainly, like I said, I wanted to, again, help people, but then also, like I said, it's just a good place, a good source of documentation that I can just access whenever, wherever, and help myself as well as help others. So that's that. Let's see. What's the next question we have? Okay, I'm not gonna answer anything ignorant, by the way. So those of you who did ask some questions, if you notice that I'm not answering your questions, is because I'm just that's not what I'm here for. Um, I could, but I'm not going to. What are your future plans? My future plans, honestly, my future plans right now are focused on everything that I'm doing. So my future plans are to get my OSCP and pass that certification, and finally just get that one off my list. After that, again, I'm still going to focus on this website. I'm still going to focus on these streams, and I'm going to focus on these channels. Eventually, I may have some other things that I'm working on, but I don't want to talk about them just yet. But my plans are to stay in the cybersecurity field. My plans are to grow in the cybersecurity field. My plans are to build other people up in the cybersecurity field. If I'm being honest, my goal is to also help, especially people of color, in the cybersecurity field. Because growing up, how we grew up, or how I grew up personally, because I can't speak for everybody of color, but how I grew up personally, I didn't have a lot of resources to this when I was younger. Who's to say that if it was available to me, I would have taken advantage of it? I knew I always liked to tinker and mess around with shit, but when I got to high school, it wasn't really available. And honestly, at that point, I just didn't really think it was meant for me. I thought you had to be super nerdy or super intelligent to do it. You know, you had to learn how to program and write code, and I didn't understand it when I first tried it. And rather than actually stick to it, I just was more concerned about doing all the typical bullshit: the girls, the sports, the running the streets, the partying, and probably a few other things that I probably could get in trouble if my mother's listening. So that's, but that's my goal. My goal is to help people, especially people of color, get into this field who feel like they're not smart enough or they don't have the right resources. If I can point them in the right direction or I can share the resources, then that's what I'm going to do. Oh, we have a question. What certs do you feel are most beneficial to yourself or to someone looking to get into the IT field? Unicron 203. That name sounds familiar. So, it all depends on what you want to do in the IT field. So, I would definitely start off again with the A plus, because it's literally the foundation of every IT career. The A plus certification gives you the fundamentals on. I mean, sometimes it's as simple as like, what's a computer, what's a hard drive, what's a keyboard, what's a USB port, what's RAM. So that would be a good one to start with. And then after that, depending on what you want to do. So if you want to do IT support, like, tech support, Network Plus would probably be the next step. Teach you the basics of networking. It teaches you the different colors of a Cat 5 or Cat 6 cable. Teaches you the basic subnetting. Give me 1 second. Teaches you, like I said, it teaches you the basics. So that would probably be the next one. Like I said, if you want to stay in the networking, then I would probably then move to more advanced network certifications like Cisco CCNA or CCNP or whatever they have for Cisco. But if you want to basically just stay in the IT, doing the IT field, I would say A plus, Network plus. It definitely would be good to learn the Security plus, because that would also teach you the basics of security. So it would teach you the importance of like strong passwords and how to secure your Wi-Fi and stuff like that. And then from there, it just depends on what you want to do. If you're staying in that field or you want to move to system administrator type roles, then you would probably want to focus more on Microsoft certifications. So your MCSA, MCSE, they used to be at MCITP, but they changed that to MCSA. But there's a bunch of different Microsoft certifications you can get. There's several other Cisco certifications you can get. If you're going to focus more on doing like Linux administration, there's like Red Hat certifications you can get for Linux. So it just really depends on what path you want to go after you get the I would say the fundamental three of the A plus, Network plus, and Security plus. After that, you would just have to reevaluate what your goals are, and then figure out the certification path that way. All right. I hope I answered the question. Let's see. What are your? I did the future plans. I do plan on staying in cybersecurity. Like I said, I don't want to reveal too much just yet as far as any other plans, but it will revolve around cybersecurity, and it will revolve around everything I just said about helping people, especially, people of color trying to get into this field. There's definitely a gap between people of color, women of color, just color period, outside of, your Asian or your Indian or Middle Eastern. I have to find the right PC term for it, because I don't want to get in trouble. This isn't another show I used to do. But yeah, definitely want to just kind of help minorities get into this field and also help better take care of their family, because again, it's a very good field to get into if you're passionate for it, if you really want to stick into it. Like I said, it's not easy, but if you play your cards right, it does pay off. And people will tell you you shouldn't get into the field for the money, or you shouldn't get into a career for the money. You should love it. I agree, but I'm gonna be honest with you: get the fucking money. Because those same people who are telling you that probably get paid really well. I'm not gonna BS you. I'm not gonna bullshit you. I'm not gonna lie to you. They are paying very good salaries, and they're paying it for a reason, because you have to know your shit. You have to be good at it. You have to stay on top of it. Things change daily. I can work on something today that will not work tomorrow. So I'm constantly reading. I'm constantly updating my stuff. I'm constantly at conferences. I'm constantly doing webinars. I'm constantly going to trainings. So it takes a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of time from your family. So you make sure that it's worth it. So that's my end rant right there. Okay. How can I get into hacking out of high school? It's not that hard, actually, to get into hacking. You can actually probably get into hacking while you're in high school. I mean, the resources are there. If you're like me and you didn't go to college, or you don't plan to go to college, you can go the certification route. So, like I was explaining to Unicron earlier, you do the same certifications. You get your A+, Network Plus, Security Plus certifications. And after that, if you're going to focus on the hacking side of things, you start looking towards more stuff towards security. So you want to look at a CEH, where a lot of people in the hacking community look at CEH and say, let me close this. A lot of people a lot of people in the hacking community look at the CEH as a super easy certification and a waste of time. I'm not going to bash the certification, but I will say getting your CEH will not prepare you for the real world as far as hacking is concerned. The CEH is a baseline certification. The CEH will get your foot in the door. CEH will get you the interview, but you still need to know. You still need to know your stuff to get the job. You're still going to need to know how to set up an Nmap scan, or the CEH kind of gives you the basics. It gives you a quick rundown, almost like the A+, where I was saying before, it was the fundamentals or the foundation. That's how I look at the CEH. The CEH is one where it kind of gives you what the different attacks are, what different vulnerabilities are there, how to look for them and stuff. But you really got to start doing a lot of work afterwards. So after the CEH, if you want to try something like the CPT, like the Certified Penetration Tester exam, you can try that. There are several different hacking certifications out there. I'm just going to look up a couple right now so I don't make a fool of myself. But like I said, you can move on to the OSCP. I would say just make sure you have a few years of experience before you move on to that one. I would learn the basics of programming. So I would learn your basic C, your basic JavaScript, or basic Java, basic Python. That will definitely help you along the way to craft your own tools or to craft your own stuff when you don't have any access to your tools in a different situation. Learn Linux, because a lot of the stuff that we do is on Linux. So I use Kali Linux. There's Ubuntu, Debian. There's just a bunch of different Linux distributions you can use. Hold on, I'm still looking for different certifications. They're just kind of escaping me right now as far as what they are. I think there's like the EJPT. There's different ones. I think it's what Pen Tester Academy has some. Let's see. Well, they have courses, but as far as I'm looking for the certifications, but there's different certifications and stuff you could take online. I don't want to kind of waste too much time on that, but it's possible to do it right out of high school, especially if you, especially if you're if you have a good knowledge of your computer stuff already. Marquis, what's going on? Ace Darksaber, this is better than a TED Talk. Yeah, okay. Hopefully one day, but not now. I'm still trying to get used to it. I got this bright ass light over me. It's kind of hot, and I'm stumbling through some shit, but we'll get there. We'll get there. But yes, to get into hacking out of high school, like I said, I would just go the certification route and get some experience. I mean, honestly, you can even do stuff on bug bounties like Hacker One or Bug Crowd, and I've seen people earn a living there. I mean, hell, there's a kid a few months ago. He was the first person to make $1 million just off of looking for vulnerabilities for other websites. Basically, what a bug bounty is you sign up for a program, and these different companies hire you to, or hire Bug Crowd or Hacker One to have their people come look at their website and determine if there's any vulnerabilities out there. And then you find the vulnerabilities, you prove the vulnerability exists, and you get paid. Like I said, sometimes you get paid couple $100. Sometimes you get paid nothing because it'll say it's a duplicate finding. Sometimes you'll get paid in like stickers or swag that they call it. And then there are times where you can get like $10,000-15,000 off of it. So it just all depends on the bug you find and whether or not you were the first one to find it. Try Hack Me is a good learning site. Yeah, Hack Me is another good learning site. Cybrary is a good learning site. Portswigger has a web application learning site. Pentester Academy is one I just looked at. Pentest Lab. Those are all good training sites. Like I said, so if you're looking to get into it out of high school, I would definitely take a look at those websites and invest in some monthly memberships, and then also do your capture the flags, your like Vuln Hubs or Hack the Box, and really learn how to navigate through a machine or how to exploit a machine, how to elevate your privileges, how to gain root or admin access, and like I said, you should be able to get that job. I'm not gonna lie, probably going to college will probably look good on your resume, but if you know your shit and you can prove it in an interview or even a technical interview, some jobs even require you to do like a assessment where they'll give you a bunch of VMs and put you on the spot and say, hey, get root and tell us how you did it. So, but if you can prove it and you have the technical skills to do it, you can get the job and you can get into it right out of high school. Let's see. Is programming a must? For cybersecurity, I wouldn't say it's a must, but I would say programming is a plus. Programming would definitely help you along the way because again, you'll be able to write your own tools when you need to. When you I know some people who really don't have any coding or programming knowledge. I'm not the strongest programmer or coder, but I know enough to get by. So like I said, I wouldn't say it's a must, but programming is it wouldn't hurt. It actually would probably enhance your skill set a lot if you knew and understood programming and you were like proficient. Okay, that's a duplicate question. What do I need to do in college? Well, if you're in college, I mean, I think they're starting to do cybersecurity degrees now. But if not, you can do your computer science, your regular computer science degree. Like I said, if they do have an emphasis or they do have any classes on cybersecurity, I would take it. And again, it just all depends on what you want to do. Cybersecurity isn't just hacking. Cybersecurity isn't just vulnerability analysis. Cybersecurity covers a whole bunch of stuff. Cybersecurity covers forensics, which is really cool. Incident response, where you're basically on defense, where you're responding to if a company gets attacked or a company gets DDoSed or if a company gets hit with ransomware. Um, they have secure coders and developers. So it just all depends on what you want to do. So before you do anything, I think you would need to what exactly you want to do. So I would, spend a few hours trying to do Google searches or do some research on what you think you may be interested in, narrow it down because there's literally a good maybe 20 different jobs that pop up on a daily basis that are all cybersecurity related. So you just have to kind of figure out what you want to do and how you want to go about it. And then once you know what you want to do, then you can figure out the approach. Okay. Hi, Davin. Thanks for the wonderful posts that are helping us learn. Thank you. Thank you for reading it. Thank you for following. Oh, shameless plug time. Please subscribe to my website, alphacybersecurity.tech. I have some major things that I'm working on. So, subscribe to it to get the notifications. People who do sign up for it, when I'm ready to announce what I'm working on, when that time is available, I'm going to obviously give specials or promotions to subscribers. Like I said, I'm working around the clock to get a lot of stuff. To get a lot of stuff going. So I would just, so if you can and you really enjoy the website, subscribe. You know what? Leave me a message, leave me a comment in any of the articles. I'm not an asshole. I'm open to constructive criticism. So, as long as you're not coming and basically trying to talk shit on my website about certain things, I will definitely read it and take whatever you have to say into consideration. So subscribe to the website, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the like button and like the videos, subscribe to the channel, click the bell for the notifications. Again, I'm trying to get the subscribers up so I can do more with the YouTube site. I can monetize it. I can get a custom freaking YouTube link. There's a lot more you can do once you hit a certain number of subscribers and have a certain number of people watching your videos. So subscribe to that. Subscribe to the Twitch channel. Just subscribe across the board. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Facebook. Like I said, I'm also on LinkedIn, but my LinkedIn is my personal page, so that would be Davin Jackson. But again, I'm available on all of those. If you have any questions or you need to reach out to me, if you have any questions about about career paths or anything like that, if I can help, I will be glad to help. I'm not a genius. I'm not Google, so I will where I can, and if I can't, I will try to point you in the right direction of where you can get the help. Okay. So that was the end of my shameless plug rant. So like I was saying, do you have advice for anyone going to a junior pen testing role, and what technical aspects should one master at this level? Many thanks, Charles. Charles, well, again, thank you for reading the blog. Thank you for reading the articles, and thank you for your question. Advice for anyone going into a junior pen testing role is very similar to what I was saying earlier about the certified ethical hacking certification. Get the certification because it'll say you have the baseline knowledge, but know your shit. Know how to conduct the pen test. Know what the damn methodology is. Know what the phases. Sorry, I dropped my. There we go. Know what the phases of a pen test are. Know what tools to use during what phases. Know the difference between an active and a passive scan. Know the difference between Nmap and NCAT, or NetCat, or NetCat and NCAT. Um, just know your skill set, know your skills, know your tool set, and know for a junior pen tester role. There are a lot of people who are in junior pen tester roles now that probably don't have that knowledge. Or you'll be in a situation like I was at one of my jobs where it was supposed to be a junior pen tester role, and within a month I was like managing my own projects and on my own assessments. It just depends on the company you work for. Um, as far as again technical aspects or stuff like that, the rule of thumb that people usually say in this field is to find someone to mentor you, that can try to help you. So I know that can be hard to do, which honestly, to circle back to my blogging, the question about why I started this, I tried to find a mentor. I looked for a couple people. I'm not going to name any names because I don't want to bash them or make them feel like I'm bashing them, because I have nothing but respect for them. But I would reach out to them and basically they just wouldn't respond. And in the beginning, I took it very personally because it was just kind of like, well, fuck you. You know, I'm trying to ask for help. You're the one who told me to find a mentor, and I'm asking you if you can mentor me. But then once I really started to get into this field and really start getting into a lot of pen testing and getting more experience, the busier I got, and it was like, okay, so maybe they're really busy. So, I only reason I would say I'm not available to be a mentor is because I'm still learning myself. But that's what the website's for as well. The website is there to kind of help those. Like I said, I try to do a lot of articles based on tools that range for different career paths. So from beginner to advanced. I actually get a lot of shit on social media about, oh, why are you teaching people how to install Kali Linux? They should know that. Well, no, not a lot of people do know that if they're trying to get into this field or they're just getting started. But circle back to your question. Yeah, know your stuff. Um, Stay on top of it. Just know your shit. That's the best advice I can give for the for a junior pen tester looking to advance. Oh yeah, and follow my blog and my videos because they'll be very helpful. Another shameless plug. Okay. Hi Davin. I love the website. Thank you. Uh, I read your article about the OSCP. Where do you think you messed up, and why you failed? Huh. The OSCP. Where I messed up. Hmm. The OSCP, the course in itself, I'm trying to figure out how I can word this. Where I messed up, I took it for granted. I took the exam for granted. I took the exam like every other certification exam I've taken, where it was just like, no, I'm just going to cram and I'm going to study and I'm going to prepare and I'll be good. Looking back at the OSCP, the exam itself, I think a lot of it was nerves. I didn't take a lot of breaks in between. I burned myself out really quickly into the exam. For those of you who don't know, the OSCP is, I actually brought up my article on it here. But the OSCP is the Offensive Security Professional Certification. It's another hacking certification, but basically what they do is they give you 24 hours to gain access into 5 machines, and each machine has a different point value. Um, they do give you some. They do have a course that you're required to take before you do any of the labs or do the exam itself. The course is not very detailed. They kind of give you the foundation, but in order to really in order to really benefit from the course, you have to do a lot of self studying and a lot of research on your own, to know what to use in certain situations. So, I did the course. I did the labs. The labs are something like 50 something machines, and I think I rooted about 27 of them. And um, yeah, I think I just underestimated it. I took the exam. I felt good the first few hours. I think I had 35 points or something like that, and then after that, I just hit a wall. And then I probably shouldn't be saying this, but recently somebody actually leaked the exam online, the basically the steps on how to root the machines, and a couple of the machines that I tested on were there, and I there was one machine, and without you know spoiling the details because I don't know if that machine is still on there, but the answer was right in front of my damn face. And honestly, it just pissed me off because had I gotten that machine, I probably would have had enough to pass. I underestimated it and I overlooked the stuff. Like I said, I didn't take enough breaks, and I just honestly, I probably wasn't prepared as I should have been. Um, but I won't. I'll be ready for it next time. Let's see. How do I improve my skills? Well, Jay, depends on what your skills are, but how do you improve anything? How do you improve a jump shot? How do you improve your overall speed? How do you improve whatever it is you want to work on? You work on it. You practice. So if you want to improve your hacking skills, there are several resources you can work on. CTFs, you can study and get other certifications. There's several books. It's kind of, I mean, your question's kind of vague, so it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly what skills you're referring to. But just in general, if you're talking about pen testing and hacking, I would say I'll just read and take courses. There's Cybrary. Let's see. There is Cybrary. There's Cybrary. There's Pentest Lab. Pentester Lab. There's Hack the Box. Vuln Hub. I mean, these are all different resources. These are just 4 resources. I mean, there are literally hundreds of resources probably out there that you can just refer to. I mean, these are all just different websites, whether they're blogs or training resources or whatever that I collect. So I see I have Bug Bounty. I have stuff that's based on OSCP. These are other different learning sites I use for coding or other resources, and then just some other stuff. So anyway, but there's several resources you can use to improve your skills. So yeah, and let's see. I think that's it for those questions. I'm just gonna check something on Instagram or anywhere else. I guess it'll be a quick stream today. It won't be like the 3-hour marathon that I did the last time. Okay, so on Instagram, put that there so you can see I'm not bullshitting. All right. You probably couldn't see what he said. But psychic.exe says, actually, I take that back. I'm not going to answer that question because that's just, no. All right. Let's see. I'm a script kiddie trying to get my feet wet. I use automated tools for legal pen tests, but I want to go beyond that. I'm learning Python. I'm learning LAN attacks, PAN attacks, the very basics of hardware and software through A+, and I'm in school for information security. I fool around with Raspberry Pis, and I'm putting together a Kali Net Hunter. Am I on the right path and just need time? How do I become like you? I understand what the tools are doing. I'm just not following step by step. I just want some kind of assurance that I'm going in the right direction, and if not, could you point me to it? You are in the right direction. You just got to give it time. You got to make sure like you said, you understand the tools. So make sure you understand why the tool worked or why it didn't work. What a certain if a port is open, what does that mean, or what are the possibilities that of what you can do? That has to basically kind of almost come like natural instinct to you. As far as everything that you're doing everything. I would just say focus on a chunk at a time. So if you're learning Python, learn what you feel you need to learn in Python. Like I said, learn a good foundation in Python. If you're learning the different between the different attacks, understand those. But that will also you'll also know what type of attacks you can use based on the ports that are open. So, for example, if I'm doing a pen test and I notice that port 80 is open, I'm going to immediately know, okay, there's a possibility that there's a website involved. So if there's a website involved, I'm going to go to the website and I'm going to start messing around with the parameters of the website to see if I can exploit it based on a cross-site request forgery or cross-site scripting or SQL injection. Like I said, if port 3306 is open, that's a SQL port. If port 3389 is open, that I believe that's RDP. So you have to basically know your ports: 22 SSH, 21 FTP. So once you know what services are on what ports by default, because you can change services on ports. But if you know what the default settings are, that will give you a good idea. Okay, I'm going to try to do this. If I know port 22 is open and that's an SSH port by default, I know, okay, I'm going to see if I can try to SSH into the machine using default credentials or if I'm going to brute force it. If I know a SQL port is open, okay, I'm gonna figure out what kind of SQL database is it. Is it a Microsoft SQL or is it a MySQL database? So if that's the case, I'm gonna see if I can throw different SQL commands to see if I can trick the website to let me get access without actually using a password, and I'm just using SQL commands. So yeah, like I said, so you're definitely on the right path. I would just say give it time, take your time, and don't get burned out. Like I said, as far as what you're doing with the A+ to learn the hardware and software, you can do that. Like I said, at the same time, I mean, it sounds like you're pretty much you're really on the right path as far as just your skill set, and you probably don't even really need the A+ certification. You could probably jump into like a Security Plus CH or OSCP or whatever based on what you're doing. As far as how to become like me, don't be like me. Be better than me. But doing what you're doing will definitely get you on that path. Continue doing what you're doing and never get complacent. That it should be something I should have put in there in a couple of the other questions. Never get complacent. Never get comfortable thinking, okay, I got this and I'm golden. I don't need to do anything else. I don't need to do any webinars. I don't need to learn any new attacks, because technology is rapidly changing. Perfect example. What good is being certified in Windows XP when Windows XP is retired and everybody's using Windows 10? See what I'm saying? So it's the same mindset. But it's honestly, I think it's worse in security. You have to stay on top of your stuff. You can't get stagnant, because the moment you do that, you're out of a job. So but yes, you're on the right path, and just keep at it. And with that, I think that's all of the questions that we have. So I know we see, we upped it. At one point, we were at something like 6 or 7 or something like that. But do we have any other questions online? Let me check. Do you use? Okay, so I just want to show. I'll show you guys real quick on my restream chat. Here we go. So I have some special questions. Do you use code? If so, what are the types of code do you? What types of code do you use? Well, Jada Jackson, I use Python, and I use C or C plus or C plus plus, and a little bit of Java. Um, those are the three main codes that I use, or coding or programming languages that I use. Haranzo, hello, and then Nathaniel Jackson, hi. Your stream is kind of lagging every now and then. Thank you. I noticed that. Is this great or what? I have read every article on your website. Thank you, Nathaniel Jackson. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. To those of you who don't know why I said those are special questions, is because Jada Jackson and Nathaniel Jackson are my two children, who I love very much, and I am so happy that they're actually on here supporting me. So, thank you to my children. Thank you to everyone who is on here. So Unicron, Marky, and Ace Darksaber, thank you for your questions or your comments. Thank you to everyone who sent me a question prior to the stream. But I'm going to call it. And yeah, got it done in just under an hour. So I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do for a regular streaming schedule. I'm thinking maybe Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I'm gonna try to figure out how to do it. Maybe like a Tech Tuesday or a Tech Thursday. But I do have some big things coming up. Like I said, I have a couple other articles that I'm writing that I also want to then turn into video. But then we're gonna get into the good shit as far as the hacking is concerned. Doing some capture the flag exercises, and like I said, I can't go too far on I can't go too far with the OSCP stuff because I don't want to get in trouble, because that stuff is confidential and you have to pay for the course. But I have a couple ideas, and like I said, I don't want to reveal everything just yet. I'm not trying to reveal all my moves, but just know I have something in the works. So, with that being said, like I said, if anybody has any last minute questions that they would like to ask between now and then. No. Going once. Going twice. Jada Jackson. Thank you. All right. So, if there aren't any other questions, thank you for joining. I think it was a little better than my last one. There wasn't any live demos, so I guess there was nothing to really struggle with. But I think the next one, I'm either going to go into maybe some tool descriptions. I'm thinking about possibly doing a video on bash scripting and doing a quick bash script so people can learn how to use those. And then yeah, that's basically what I'm gonna do, and then probably move into the CTFs. And then, like I said, we have a bunch of capture the flags that I possibly will work on. I don't know if I'm going to stream all of them, but here are all the VulnHub machines. So there are a bunch here. You probably won't see Metasploitable 3, but you'll definitely probably see these Keyoptrix machines here. Maybe I'll do the whole Keyoptrix series. I'll probably do the Trolls because those are interesting. I'll probably do Lord of the Root, Mr. Robot, And then I may look at some of these hack the box machines as well. Like I said, I plan on doing all of them, but I don't know if I'm going to stream all of them or if I'm going to write up all of them just yet. Again, just because of time constraints and everything like that. So, with that being said, thank you. Like I said, I'll try to probably put something up next week. And thanks for watching. You guys take care.